For the stocking, you're going to need your batting, your outer material or your main material, your lining, your 2 pattern pieces, and your instruction. We're going to start by cutting the main material first. Remember to fold your material selvage to selvage. Most of your material will be like this already. Take your stocking, and if your material is running in a certain direction, make sure that your stocking is running in that same direction. I like to put it against the salvage area so that I have the rest of this material for something else. Measure your grain line. So for your lining and your cuff, your broadcloth will be already folded selvage to selvage. What we have to do in order to get 2 cuffs and 2 stockings, we have to refold it because the stocking cuff doesn't actually fit properly with the width of the broadcloth. If your broadcloth is wide enough, yes, you can do the layout with the cuff down here and your stocking in this direction. The nice thing about broadcloth is it doesn't matter if you're going parallel to the selvage or perpendicular. Because mine doesn't quite fit and I don't want to get the selvage marks in, I need to refold. So I'm going to do what's called a partial fold. I'm going to take my material and I'm going to fold it so on one side it has a fold and on the other side it doesn't. I want to make sure that the partial fold will be long enough for my stocking. I want to make sure it's just enough because my cuff is going to go right here. So now I have my first layout. My stocking will be cut out right here. My single cuff will be cut out here. And then my second cuff will be cut out using this material being flipped out. So I'm going to cut my stocking out first. Now I'm ready to pin my first cuff. You want to make sure that your cuff edge isn't really too much by the selvage because we're going to be scalloping where this is and we just don't want to catch in our selvage. And now you're ready for your second one. And as you can see, this was folded like that. So now we're going to take this and we're going to unfold it. And your second cuff is going to go along here. Again, don't waste space. So just find a good spot to do your second cuff. So now that you've cut out your second cuff, what we need to do is we need to actually mark our scallops on one of the cuffs so that we know where we're going to be stitching along. So you're going to be using a new tool. So to mark that, we're going to be using our chalk paper and our tracing wheels. So you're going to get a tracing wheel. You want to make sure it has decent points to it. And you're going to want a chalk paper that's going to show up. We want to make sure when we get our chalk paper that it's a color we can see, but that's not necessarily going to be too obvious if we make a mistake on our scallops. So I'm going to try a white one, which is this one right here. Now, your chalk paper has a chalky side and a paper side. You're going to be placing the chalk side down against your material, and that's going to leave an imprint. Before you start, you may want to test out your material to make sure that the chalk is actually going to hold. So I'm going to take a piece of my material here, I'm going to place it underneath, and I'm going to draw a line. And you have to apply pretty much a lot of pressure. And you can see here that there's little dots here. So I know that this chalk is going to work with my material here. You can also see that I'm going to have to shift my chalk over because it's not quite long enough. You're going to take your wheel and you're just going to come up to the point and then back down, applying pressure, making sure nothing is moving. So here I have my chalk line. You can see here I made a little bit of a mistake, but that's fine, we can fix that.